Hey guys, Rushdie here, how you all doing? In this video I plan to do an overview of the Street Fighter 5, the Mad Catz version 2 Fightpad. So I recently picked this up. It was a recommendation from a subscriber of mine, and they mentioned that Mad Catz had basically revised the original Fightpad they did for Street Fighter 5. So this is the version 2, and the main difference is the D-pad. The D-pad is much improved. The previous version had like a disc shaped, it's completely flat, the D-pad. It was awful. It was really bad to use. Not many people that I actually know who used it liked it at all. I was not a fan of it either. So the version 2, it comes with the D-pads. It's similar in style, but it has the cross shape in it, so you can actually feel your up, down, left, right, which makes a big difference. And fireball motions, DPs, super well, 2/4 circle forward motions, 2/4 circle back motions are much easier with this D-pad. And that is the main selling point of this pad. It is. I mean, if I use the Hori Fightpad, not the Fight Commander 4, just a normal Hori Fightpad. That is the best pad I've used in a long time. I'm a big fan of the 6-button layout, and I like the fact I can use the trigger buttons on the right hand side. Don't have to use these buttons here with this pad, and with the Hori Fightpad. So 6-button layout is much preferred for me. But the biggest problem I have with these 6-button pads, these third-party pads, is the D-pad. The D-pad's always a problem, and with the Hori is the best fighting pad out at the moment, I think. But the two issues with it are the D-pad isn't great. It's a cross, it's a cross-shaped D-pad, and it doesn't have any sort of recesses for the diagonal directions at all. So that does make it, I wouldn't say difficult, but it does affect the performance of the Hori pad. This, on the other hand, it has the diagonal directions because it's a circular D-pad, which I think is the better pad, the better D-pad to have, the circular shape. Bring that closer. It does make a difference. It makes inputs much easier. I've noticed already straight away I can DP, I can anti-air with Ken a lot easier using this pad. I do struggle with the Hori, and I don't have the confidence to DP with the Hori pad as well on reaction. During combos, DPing is fine, but yeah, if you back dashing, forward dashing, you crouch blocking, and then you've got to switch to a DP. With this D-pad, because you can see it's sort of got a recess as well, it's not completely flat. You see there it's got a bit of a dip to it in the middle. You can feel more where your thumb is when you're about to do DP motions and CAs and stuff when you need to. It makes a big difference, and that's the selling point of this pad. It is really good. I've only had it a few days, so I don't know what it's like durability wise. It feels really good. It feels better than the version 1. It feels much better than the Street Fighter 4 and Mad Catz pads. You've got the analog stick. That's probably my only gripe. Well, I've got two issues with this pad. D-pad's fantastic, but the analog stick, you can't seem to turn it off. So when you're using the D-pad, if you do knock it, you will move when you use the analog stick. The analog stick itself feels really good, but it's too close to the D-pad. I don't know why they've included it. You know, it's best to focus on one thing, in my opinion. A perfect D-pad would have been better than having two sort of. That impacts the D-pad because of the positioning. And I don't really see the point of the analog stick at all anyway, so if they scrapped that, this would have been bang on. It is bang on, but that is an issue, it's in the way. So maybe if they moved it across, maybe if they just omitted it altogether. I'm even tempted to actually, it sounds crazy, I mean I've just bought the pad recently, actually removing this altogether so it's not in the way at all. I'll see how I feel, because it set me back about 50 quid this did, and I did hear that it's been discontinued as well, so maybe more difficult to get your hands on these pads. My other gripe is, you know, this is a fight pad, this is for fighting games. Why have they included triggers for your L2 and R2 buttons? There should be shoulder buttons. You know, it should be the same sort of the downward press, the actual time it takes to press the button down. It should be the same for these two buttons. So obviously, because the trigger, there's more of a drop, which will impact sort of your timing when you press this button. It's not a big deal. It's not a big issue, but it will obviously have some impact if you're moving from a Hori pad to this pad. So I've got to get used to that. But the buttons the pad, like I said, it feels good, it feels solid, it's very well built. It's got a glossy finish, which I'm not too keen on. I prefer like a sort of more matte finish. It lasts longer, if you know what I mean. It doesn't show up scratches. But it does feel, even though it's got a gloss finish, it does feel like it's built very well. And you've got the touchpad as well. You haven't got that in the Hori. That's a really good thing. You can switch it left and right, so you can use these as your L1, L2 buttons. If you want your R1, and sorry, so yeah, your R1, your R2 are here and here with that configuration. But if you switch it over to here, I think that becomes your L, yeah, L1, L2. I think so. Basically, when you go to switch to that toggle to the right, you can use these buttons and these buttons, which is perfect for fighting games. Well, especially for Street Fighter, which is like a 6-button game, isn't it? You got your light, medium, heavies on the front, and then your 3 kicks, your 3 punches on the back. So it's a very, very good pad. I mean, if you're looking for a 6-button pad, if you were to buy one now, I would probably recommend this pad over the Hori because of the D-pad. The D-pad is far superior. Put this D-pad on the Hori pad, then the Hori pad is the best pad out there. And the reason for that is because you haven't got this in the way, and you've got a proper shoulder button for your R2 rather than this trigger. But the D-pad is very important in fighting games, and if you haven't got a good D-pad, it's not reliable. You're not going to play it as well as you should, and that's the Hori pad. I've loved it, the Fight Commander, but I knew the D-pad was an issue, and that's what's been holding me back. So I plan to use this moving forwards. It's going to take me a bit of a while to get used to the buttons, because the pad feels different, and obviously my muscle memory is going to be different. Getting used to the D-pad will be different, but inputs are much easier on the D-pad, and that's the most important thing about this pad. So if you haven't got a Hori already, I'd recommend this if you can get your hands on one. If you've already got a Hori, is it worth buying this? It depends if you got them. If you've got the spare cash, it is. But if you're tight for cash and you don't want to stretch yourself, I wouldn't really bother, because they practically do the same thing, but the D-pad is far superior. Again, the bad things are this being the way, which you can eliminate by removing it. Your trigger, just got a case of getting used to that, I guess. So not a bad thing either, but that's the only bad points I have. But overall, other than that, very, very good pad. The Hori, I think I may stop using it because of the superior D-pad, but we'll see. I mean, if I can't get used to it, I'm not too sure, I don't feel comfortable, then I will carry on using the Hori pad. I've looked at ways of actually modifying the Hori pad's D-pad to improve it, but I just don't think there's any way you can adjust it. I think it is what it is. It's got a flat cross-shaped D-pad, so because it's flat as well, you can't really feel where your thumb is when you need to. So that's, I know it sounds minor, but it makes a massive difference. You'll be surprised the difference it makes. So I hope that's been useful to you guys. I mean, if you plan to buy this pad, hopefully that's sort of helped you make a decision. Yeah, I am pretty happy with it so far, so we'll see how it goes. I'll plan to do a casual set today, later on today, so we'll see what it's like there. But again, I'm a bit rusty with it, so it might take a bit of time for the muscle memory to sort of kick in, well, to develop with the pad. So yeah guys, hopefully that's been useful. Let me know your thoughts. I think a few of you guys actually got this pad, so yeah, share your thoughts, let the other guys know what you think. So yeah, that's it. That's the Mad Catz Street Fighter 5 version 2 fight pad. Cheers guys, take it easy, bye.